Hello, my name is John Bromett of Crusoe Design. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through using my photorealistic enamel pin mock-up set. If you're just stumbling upon this from YouTube, I actually teach a video on how to make your own photorealistic enamel pin. It's a free tutorial, so just click the link below and you'll find it. But this video is actually for the people that have purchased that mock-up so that they can figure out exactly how to use it. So I'm going to show you in detail exactly how to use this product. And I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get in the computer. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so once you've got your file downloaded and unzipped, you will see these same files and folder. You'll see your license, mockup instruction. You'll see the main soft enamel pin mockup PSD where we'll be doing all of our work. And we'll see a background photos folder. We'll get back into that in a few moments. So I've opened up my main file just by double clicking, but I had it pre-opened. It should look a lot like this. We want to make sure we've got our layers showing, so we'll go down to Window and Layers. I'm going to assume that you have some experience in using Photoshop, that you're not an absolute beginner, so we can skip over some of the basics. But in here, you will see all the different setups that we've got. Our main art will go in here. This is where our outline, fill, and then the option to change our metals. So we'll get into those in a moment, but we're going to scroll down for the minute and we're going to look at pins. So you want to make sure this folder is shown. And in this pin, we have a few different options for our outline. We've got our glossy metal outline, which I have it defaulted to right now. Let's zoom in a little bit here, just so you can really see how crisp and nice that one looks. And then we've got a different style of outline. We've got our sharp metal outline here. This is the one I actually showed how to make for free as a YouTube tutorial and also on Skillshare. Then we have our rough metal outline. This one's a little more matte looking. It's got a little more texture to it. And lastly, a soft metal outline. I thought this one kind of looked better with text, for example, but everyone's going to have their own taste, so whichever one you think looks cool. For now, we'll have the sharp metal outline on, and if we open up that folder, you'll see we have the metal texture applied to it, so you can ignore that. And then we've got a copy of our outline here with all of the effects on it. So if we click this little arrow, you see all the different effects. If we double click over here on it, you can actually see the effects and you can live edit them. So it shows right there, and you can feel free to edit them until your heart desires and customize it to exactly your liking. And you can do that with each style in these folders. So for now, I'm going to put the glossy metal outline on. Also, if we come down here, we have our fill, and our fill also has some effects on it. So again, if you double click it, you may edit any of those effects to your liking. One thing you may want to do is if we come down here, we've got our drop shadow on. And in some instances, you might want to change that drop shadow. So we can simply turn that drop shadow off and we can turn on our advanced shadow. What's great about this advanced shadow is we can move it around. So let's go ahead and add a white background for a moment. And I'll hit Command or Control and I'm going to add a white fill to it. Let's drag that up here. So now you can see, so let's hide this. Let's show this shadow. So there's our generic shadow. It's kind of just flat right behind the shape. If we turn that off and put our advanced one on, the advanced one gives a lot more depth, a lot more 3D. With the advanced selected, all we have to do is hit Command or Control T. You can hit OK here. And what I would do, generally speaking, is I want this base to stay about the same. And if we hit Command or Control and grab this middle square here, then you can click and drag this around to sort of match whatever your lighting is. And then you may need to do the same just to adjust it so it's kind of hitting the bottom. But that'll allow you to throw the shadow to wherever you think looks realistic in your background photo. It looks pretty good, I find, on that sand photo, so we'll get into that in a moment as well. So let's hide these. So let's scroll up and look at our metal textures. So we're going to double click on this smart object to open up our metal options. And in here we have brushed aluminum black on. If we were to hide that and turn brushed aluminum on, we can save it. That's Command or Control S. And we have to go back over to our main file and it will automatically update with that. So we're going to hop back over to the metal textures and I'll just show you a couple others real quick. Silver chrome. You can see how quick it is to update. Zoom back in here so you can really see. Let's go to our glossy black, save, like so, and so on and so forth. And the great thing about the way that I've set these up is that you can import any texture that you create or purchase or download for free as well. So if there's a different style of metal that you want to show, you can simply import it into that smart object and it'll automatically update on your pin. So I'm just going to go back to my brushed black there. Okay, so now for the key part. You want to put in your very own artwork. I'm going to do this in Adobe Illustrator. However, you can do it in Photoshop. You just have to separate the layers, probably using your magic wand tool, much like I would do in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to open Adobe Illustrator now. So you see I have this complicated file with pins, mostly of which I've actually created, and they are for sale. And I've added a red background. It doesn't matter what the color is, but having a background that's just simple to select will make sure that we keep everything to scale with one another. So I've already pre-done it with all of these, but I'm just going to show you really quick what I've done. So we're going to come in here and let's select this pin. So I'm going to option and click over here. Okay, so zooming in here, I've made this 3 inches by 3 inches, which you can see up here. It doesn't really matter which size you make it, it's vector. We're just going to import it as a smart object anyway, but that's how I have it set up as. Essentially, when you want to take your artwork, create a rectangle or square behind it, make sure your object's grouped. And then with both selected, I'm going to option or alt click on the rectangle or square. You just want to make sure it's nicely centered in there. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this is all merged down and really clean artwork. So if you need to, which I don't in my case, but you would go to Object, Expand, you might have to do it a couple times, maybe Expand Appearance, and then make sure Window and down Pathfinder is open, and make sure Merge is available, and select that a couple times, and that will make sure you simply have your outlines and your fills. Another thing with enamel pins is that if you do have multiple colors for your fills, you need an outline between them or they would just bleed together. So with that done, all I'm going to do is select both the red box and that artwork. And I'm going to hold Option or Alt and Shift, and I'm going to drag it over and just release, and this will copy the exact same thing side by side. Now I've got this grouped, not within my box, and I'm going to double click to enter that group. What I want to do is delete the fill. So in case you have a bunch of different fill options, you could simply select them and then hit delete. That would be fine. Or you could do the opposite. This can be a bit more confusing, but it works well if you have a ton of different colors inside. I'm going to select my outline only, and I'm going to hit Command or Control X, which not only deletes it, but also copies it to the clipboard. And then I'm going to hit Command or Control A to select everything else, then delete. Then Command or Control F to paste that outline in place. Again, that's more convoluted, but if you have a ton of different fills, that might make it easier. Now over here on this version, we're going to double click in here, and now we're simply going to use our magic wand tool, which again is Y on our keyboard. We're going to select just the outline and hit delete, and that will keep all of the fill available no matter how many colors that you have in there. It should be that easy. I'm going to double click or hit escape to exit that. And now I'm going to use my direct selection tool just to grab both of these boxes. So that was A on my keyboard. And I'm going to make sure the color is actually set to none. I want my fill as none. Lastly, I want to group the background box and my outline with Command or Control G. And I want to do the same over here with the fill and the outline box with Command or Control G. And now we're all ready to bring them into Photoshop. As you can see, it took a few steps to get it to this point, but once you get it down, it's really fast, and now we can essentially just copy and paste and auto-update our smart objects. Okay, so I'm going to start with my outline, and I'm going to hit Command or Control C, and then I'm going to open Photoshop back up. And now I want to come up here to the pin outline, and I want to double click on the thumbnail here. You will see my skull right there, and I'm just going to simply hit Command or Control V to paste it, and I'm going to keep it a smart object. And here's where I'm going to change this to about 250%, I think will be good. Whatever percentage you make it, just make sure that you memorize that because you need to use the exact same percentage when you're pasting your fill layer in a moment. I'm going to hit enter. And now I'm going to hide the visibility of my arrow skull. You could even just delete it and hit Command or Control S. You'll see that part has already updated. Now we're going to double click our fill. We're going to open back up Illustrator, select our fill, Command or Control C, open Photoshop back up, Command or Control V, and remember we have to change the scale to the same amount, so 250%. Hit enter, and again hide or delete the arrow skull, and Command or Control S. And there you go, we've got our artwork completely updated. And just as I showed you before, you can now easily change the metals and you can change the effects as well. Now we're going to get into a couple of background photo options. So we'll go ahead and we'll close those sub layers for now. So if we go back to our folder, you will see that there was background photos. The reason why they were not within the actual file is I didn't want the file to get too large. We can delete that now. So all you have to do is either click and drag them in, so just like so, and then hit enter. Or alternatively, you can go to File, Place Embedded, or Place Linked and select one of the images as well. I'm actually going to bring in the sand one, for example. And they're in my backgrounds folder because I had that selected. These photos are great. They're by Shire Designs. He did an awesome job. Please do give him a follow. And here's an example where the drop shadow that comes on it automatically doesn't look so realistic. So if we turn off that drop shadow, and don't forget you can edit the amount of the shadow, the darkness of it, and so on. And we turn on our advanced shadow, we can get this looking pretty realistic. So with the advanced shadow folder selected, I'm going to hit Command T, hit OK. And then again, holding Command or Control, I'm going to select that middle and just kind of move it around to where I think looks more realistic. Honestly, the sun's probably coming from behind, but pulling it forwards, it's doable. You could do this kind of thing. I don't know, it just doesn't look right to me. So we'll do a more subtle shine like that. Do whatever you think looks cool. Maybe we can bring it down. Pretend like it's got a kickstand there or something. Whether it's like that. And then our opacity is set to 50%, so we can of course click and drag that up if you want it to be heavier, or click and drag it down if you want it to be more subtle. Okay, and it's that easy. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully the tutorial made everything a lot easier for you to deal with. If I double click here, I'm gonna make my shadow just a little more subtle. And of course you can click and pull it. It'll auto update everything with your highlights so it can match your photo. Oh, one last thing that I did want to talk about is I also have added a photo filter. So if we just turn on the visibility here, in a photo like this, it's very dark. It's kind of bluey. It's got blue tinge to it. So having my really stark white pin here looks a little bit unrealistic to me. So if we go over here and we show our photo filter layer, you can come up to the filter and do any color you want, cooling, warming, depending on your photo. And then you can increase or decrease the density. I would keep it pretty subtle, 10% or less. But that immediately makes the photo look more like it was actually taken, makes your enamel pin blend more in with the photo in the background. And that's why I've added that photo filter. So before I leave you, I just want to show, once again, how easy it is to actually update your artwork if you're comfortable with it. Double click, open up Illustrator, assume I've already got one set up, copy, paste, in my case 250%, hide, save, delete, or close that, double click fill, CC, copy, paste, 250%, enter, hide, save. Just like that, your artwork is fully updated. So maybe it took 10 seconds as I explained it, but if you get comfortable and used to it and you have your files set up nicely on the Illustrator side, it's really easy to bring them over and make sure they update automatically. Okay, thank you so much for purchasing this product. I hope this was really informative. If you do have any suggestions, I'm always willing to update this, so please leave them in the comments below. Subscribe, you'll follow me on Instagram and everything at Crusoe Design Co. and Skillshare for all of my full-length classes. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.